This is a culmination of 3 years of planning, 18 months of really, really hard effort by a massive group of people, commitment from the leadership team, from a special projects team that went above and beyond. And arriving here is just a sense of relief, but like I said, excitement. We're really excited for the day because it one demonstrates that we're ready for the next chapter of this business. And the next chapter is all about growth. We're in a facility now that creates, for me, I think, the ideal place of work for an evolving population, a sort of center for innovation and creativity, a maker space, a creative space that we can all enjoy, and sets the tone for what I'd like to replicate in different countries on the continent, to some degree, to be a reflection of this business. If I can achieve that, I think that'll be a massive success for our business. I brought in experts, technical experts, advisory people to help us with their thinking. And then we excluded all of them for a little bit. And we just sat down, we chatted as a leadership team. And I said, what are we doing? But more importantly, why are we doing this? And the why became synonymous with the feelings we had after having done something that was Conlog. Whether it was build a meter, design a meter, take it to home, connect it for the first time, sell that first energy token. And then we realized the new purpose of the business. And I was clear to everyone in the business, we should make that purpose known and understood. And that purpose today, I think, is well defined, and it speaks to enriching lives by connecting people and resources. And that can play out in a number of ways. One, by the environment we create here. We've certainly enriched the lives of people, giving them a more collaborative, a more open environment to work in. I think it's done a lot for the business in terms of creating some appreciation for the brand and for us being a valuable employer in the sector. But also it allows people to understand that what we do here is more than sell a meter, more than design and manufacture a meter. It's about bringing access to energy. And for every meter that leaves the building today, we stopped counting the rand or the dollar attached to it. We started counting the lives that it impacts. And you'd have seen that in Sibu's opening comments today, is that that's something we track and we publish in our reports that we, in this month, have connected so many people to electricity. And that's something we're really proud of. Sometimes regarded as a basic need for many, but I think what is unique and troublesome is that it's a problem on the African continent that we have to deal with. That a large sector of our population still does not have access to energy. And what's exciting about what we do is that we have a role, a very pivotal role to play that touches the end consumer, that allows him to get that sense, hey, I've got a commodity today that I didn't have yesterday. This commodity allows me to do so many things in my life that I didn't have the ability to do yesterday. And with that freedom, from an individual perspective, we have the ability then to impact the economy to some degree. You look at electrification projects, its impact to cities and countries on the continent, and how economies have grown as a result of bringing access to energy. And I think the numbers will speak for themselves. There's a couple of dimensions to consider around the facility and our ability to bring that hope, that need to Africans. One is that we're in the airport precinct, and the logistics element around moving product across the continent is always a bit of a concern. Being here certainly helps. So if there's that rush order that we have to deliver product to Nigeria, to Uganda, at any one point in the month, we have the ability to deliver. One of the things we measure ourselves by is our ability to deliver on time, But what I stress to the team is always delight the customer, deliver sooner. Take that pain away from the customer of having to wait. So that's the first thing. The second thing, moving to this environment from the previous environment allowed us to build efficiencies into our processes, manufacturing processes, allowing some degree of automation to be introduced, while also considering people, places of work, upskilling people for the new way of work. I think that was vitally important. But with every one of the process efficiencies or productivities we created, we allowed ourselves to pass that back on to the consumer base we're serving. So again, it's not about the rand dollar we're putting into our pocket, but how do we create more value and sell more meters in the hope of creating more access to energy. So that was the second thing. I think the third thing was having this environment allowed us to introduce technologies, newer technologies, implement, in my opinion, probably one of the most sophisticated surface mount technology lines in South Africa, if not on the continent, and build alongside that valuable process automation inputs that speed up our ability to deliver. So if I compare the two facilities, this facility has a productivity improvement of nearly 300% over the last facility. What does it do for me? It secures my ability to ship out a higher volume, 3 times as more than I was before in Durban Tradeport. And that excites me. That means that I've future-proofed this business at least for another 5 to 10 years. So scaling in terms of operational capabilities is fundamental to support what I think is still a growing and very demanding requirement for access to energy on the continent. It feels really special, to be honest. I was nervous for the day. We had a lot of activity building up to this day. I had a lot of commitments in the country, outside of the country. But personally, I think there's some relief. But I go back to the sense of excitement. I think I said it in my address today. Conlog has got a rich 56-year history in innovation across a number of sectors, the last sector being the power sector. And there's been a number of leaders in this business that have managed to transform this business in one way or form, move it forward, grow it to some degree. But there are a select few that took that giant leap. And I think today we've taken a giant leap. And I'm proud to be a part of this team and this Conlog family that allowed us to take that giant leap. Fantastic support by the board, understanding our history, understanding also our potential to have a far greater impact in the long term. So it is special because with a business with a proud and rich history such as Conlog, to be able to leave that legacy, that we took that leap, we've created this new environment, this new facility. I think that's something I will hold near and dear to me for a long time. I mean, I joined here 18 odd years ago. A young engineer looking very naively at the world, and I walked into Conlog and I was just amazed at the technical competence, the structured engineering approach that existed in this business. And I was wowed by the fact that it's here, it's in Durban. And then as I sort of gravitated to different roles in the business, I learned to respect what we do more, because I quickly realized that what we do, or what we're doing rather, is something very special. You can have an idea, a concept, a thought. I could bring a group of people around me today and say, how do we play this out, right? And there's a good chance 18 months down the line, it was a good idea, it becomes a reality in terms of we've designed, we've implemented an industrialized process around it, and we're able to ship out this product in volume. That is unique. It's so unique that I believe we're the only ones in South Africa that's doing it to that degree. I don't think we advocate that and promote that enough as a South African business. It's something we're really proud of, but we've always been proud of that fact within the confines of these walls. And I want that message to permeate through the rest of the industry, to the rest of the South African sort of business sector, the academic space, to have people understand that the potential exists here to be great. Today we're recognized in a number of countries on the continent as the world leader in metering, as the world leader in prepaid metering. None of what we're doing in any of these countries is ideas or thoughts or designs that are born anywhere but outside of this facility. So that's something special. I think it's something we need to be promoting more, but also demonstrating to the rest of the business sector that it is possible. We have the skills in this country. We have to invest. We certainly have to invest. We certainly have to partner with tertiary institutions and build the right skills that require these types of businesses to progress. And these are some of the things that we focused on in the last couple of years. One of the big things for me, and I think I've underlined it as the ethos of our business, is continuous learning. Understanding that you have to be curious about the next thing. And if you're curious enough, you'd want to learn more. And to have to learn means I've acquired this new piece of knowledge that I can apply in some way or form that's going to create more value for myself. But if we come together and look at collective value, it creates more value for the business. So that ethos has spun itself out in so many ways. But the most impactful way that I think we've brought some value to the business is we've allowed people the opportunity to progress their thinking, to be curious, to want to aspire to be more, to want to grow into something that can create more value for this business. It certainly brings some degree of what is familiar. You get a sense that you can relate to this person because they know and understand the business the way you know and understand the business. But as a young engineer 18 odd years ago, I never joined this business thinking I'd be here 18 years later. And I can imagine today with the different sort of youth and their way of thinking. We always call the concept of the millennials and their way of thinking, and how long you can hold their attention. I can imagine that today that concern is far larger than when I had that concern 18 years ago. But what is special about this place, and I said it today as well, is that when you arrive here, there's an integration. But it's an integration to a way of work, but also into this family. We call it a family. And once you belong to this family, it's so difficult to have to leave because you have an emotive attachment to what we're doing. Leave alone the purpose statement. You have an understanding that you are part of a collective group of people that's doing something special. And I think the purpose statement adds value to that. But this collective group, agile, commitment like you can't imagine. I was saying to our guests earlier as we were doing the tour, this was the first 2 hours we took a break in the last couple of years, even while migrating from the old facility to the new. I said to the team, we will not disappoint any of our customers that places orders on our business. And as a result, there will be no interruption to business. And they've managed this transition, moving 300 odd people from the old facility to the new, moving all the production equipment without any impact to business. And that doesn't happen without some degree of commitment. So while we've created a flexible environment to work, the new way of work, introducing concepts such as telecommuting, flexi hours, I think there's a very special commitment that we enjoy from almost every single individual in this business, and that is something that is special. We've made no secrets about our growth ambitions. What I said to the team is, we are the team that will take these leaps. We will not take steps to be comforted by, just an easy step forward. We will take leaps, the next period for Conlog certainly includes a number of entities of substance that represents what we do here. That is a reflection of what we do here, dotted in specific countries around the continent, where we feel that we could have an impact, where we feel we could create the impact we have in South Africa, in the likes of Sudan, in the likes of Uganda. These are countries that have enjoyed a Conlog commitment, much like we've committed ourselves to metering and prepayment, back in the 90s in South Africa. And that transformation would allow this business to reach its growth potential. We want to be the multinational we claim to be. And I think we've already started that journey. We've now set up businesses on the continent. We've taken giant leaps in terms of commitment to our customers on the continent. Nigeria being our first, material initiative that speaks to that drive and that growth ambition. And we're hoping what we can replicate in that market space, we can take to other markets that would enjoy the substance of the Conlog brand.